Welcome to the Prog Talks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Prog Talks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to another episode of the Prog Talks. I'm your host Dario, and as always, before we jump into today's topic and welcome today's guests, don't forget to get us a cup of coffee maybe, or get yourself a nice cup from our merch store or other merch stuff. It helps us out a lot to continue doing what we're doing here. And now I'm really happy to have three amazing musicians here in our Zoom meeting from the band Seventh Station. Maybe you can quickly introduce yourselves, starting with Dmitri, maybe.
I'm Dmitri Alperovich. I'm the composer and the guitarist of Seventh Station.
Eren?
I am the keyboardist and all things arranging, sequencing, live production, and whatnot.
And finally, Vidi.
I'm Vidi. Hi, I'm the singer for Seventh Station and other things, but today Seventh Station, all of my heart.
Yeah, and of course, there's the reason why I called you, why we're doing this interview, is the new Seventh Station album. It's going to be the second after the debut album Between Life and Dreams in 2016, and it's called
Heal
the Unhealed. Heal the Unhealed. No,
that was a tricky one.
And it's out on November 7th. And it's a massive one. And yeah, it's been a couple of years since 2016, since the first album. And there's a lot of things going on this album musically, and of course also thematically. So maybe before we jump into the music and the production, maybe let's get the elephant out of the room a little bit, as the album cover artwork is like very much in the Soviet style and all. And I think there's a lot of people, especially in these times, who are a little bit uncomfortable with that. But of course, there's a story behind it, and it has nothing to do with what's going on nowadays, right? So maybe just get it out of the way right in the beginning, and to assure people a little bit where it comes from, where the idea for this album came from. Dimitri.
Well, basically, just based on the timing of when we recorded the album, the recording started in December 19, if I remember correctly, the 6th, but it doesn't matter. So there is no way that we could guess this situation. So if one thing for sure, it wasn't planned, or we don't have any agenda or political saying by releasing it. Releasing this Russian Soviet style. I mean, the whole idea came from that I wanted to do Shostakovich arrangement for a really long time. I'm talking about 10 years ago. And I thought it would be nice to put it in the album, and then to make really, really long story short, I thought it would be cool to add another 2 songs, like as a beginning and end, and to create like a trilogy that will talk about this historical stuff. And I was also born in Belarus in Soviet Union time, and my parents were living there. They were so.
It's both a personal background and just like a historical observations. Kind of a mix of that?
It's mostly historical observation than personal, because I left Belarus when I was 4 years old, 4.5. So it's not like I have any agenda to say about it, or I know only stories from the history that was learning, and from my parents' stories. So it's nothing to do with the political situation today. Never meant to. We never try to aim to be even close to politics. For us, music and art is the highest what we think of when we composing, writing, and all the other things. We never imagined that it will be so relevant. Unfortunately, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. With that out of the way, kind of, I really want to dive into the music with you guys. You already mentioned Shostakovich and the arrangement, which is, of course, the third single, the Ruthless Koba. You just, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, you released an in-studio playthrough of that crazy arrangement. But then again, how could you make Shostakovich not crazy?
Yeah, exactly.
So with this starting point and having Eren in the band, did you start with the arrangement and then Eren takes over, or for this kind of specific instrumental song that kind of was the starting point of the album, or how did you flesh out this progressive metal arrangement of Shostakovich?
Well, I wrote the whole arrangement already years ago, even before we started this album. I mean, it was more or less written, and Eren input was out of this world. I mean, I couldn't imagine that that's what he will do. And if he will be brave enough, he can tell you what I. The first thing that I told him when I called him after I heard what he recorded, what I said.
Yeah, I mean, when Shostakovich came to me, the keyboard part was basically just a single line of what he imagined the keyboards would be, but there was no any kind of patch or sound or any direction to it. It was rather just, okay, these are the parts that I'm interested for you to play. But it was arranged in such a way that it was so much space to fill. And it's almost like this bass guitar drums concerto that I also threw in some keyboard soloing, but it's mostly just orchestrating the whole thing. And one of the most important things for Shostakovich per se is that both Dima and me come from a classical background. So we are trained in executing classical music, and over several years or decade actually of training in classical music, we are really specific about classical music and what it kind of deserves when it's a good performance and a good quality performance of it. So we were meticulous about being really respectful to Shostakovich and also our classical music heritage. But after some time recording it, I sent it to Dima overnight, maybe like 2-3 a.m. in the morning. And next morning, the first thing in my messages, and he texted me and he said, "Wake up, beautiful. I have to praise you." which is a good sign that he's impressed. And yeah, it's one of the most, I think, one of the proudest things that we've accomplished, and it's an excellent tribute both to our favorite composer Shostakovich, but also a tribute to our history personally, coming from classical music scene, both of us.
I can very much relate to this, coming from a classical upbringing as well. But now let's bring in the singer into the boat. There's 2 other singles that were released before, and there's a lot of Vidi on it. And Vidi, how is it for you singing with Seventh Station? As you mentioned, you have other bands like Subterranean Masquerade, and I have the feeling in Seventh Station also, like listening to the first album, Between Life and Dreams. I think I have the feeling you can go a little bit more crazy here.
I can go crazy here. I can go crazy here. Well, how it is like to record with them and play with them, it's very hard because they are very good. And that's sometimes scary, especially because I'm a singer. And I think I told you already about this joke of why do singers always knock on doors? Because they never know when to come in. So
we just spoke about this joke before we started.
exactly. That is one of the main challenges here, and this is one of the reasons that I love working with these guys, because it keeps on pushing the balance of my understanding in music. And I have free space for going complete berserk, I think, with all the voices. On the first record, I was only singing the lyrics and the melodies that Dima wrote, and on this album, he gave me a lot of trust and freedom to do whatever feels right, and I tried to make justice with their compositions. I didn't want anything to be because I feel things are very special in the way that they are working with the music. I felt like if I'm just doing this, if I'm trying to write a song on top of it, it'll be wrong. It's not the right storytelling for this kind of band. So I think I went all the way. And I hope that people will appreciate it. I think that nowadays you see more and more instrumental progressive metal happening, and there's a reason to it, because you see people just getting better and better on their instruments. But sometimes I feel that we, the singers, are a bit left behind. We're more like an archive kind of art form. So I was trying to do something else, and I hope that people will appreciate that. At least appreciate it. I hope they like it. But if not, then at least appreciate.
Respect.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when like the first singer was all the Hail the Mustache, and with a crazy video also, this animated mustache guy with the mustache devouring the world
Exactly.
at the end from the cross. Very twisted stuff. But the second single we were happy to premiere here at the Progspace with Nadia, Heart of the Nation. And I remember when Asher from Asher Media Relations sent it to me asking if I want to premiere it, and I listened to it the first time, and I was just amazed at what you were doing with the song, Vidi, how you like really went into the craziest emotions and expressing it through the voice.
So I think it comes a lot from my work with Dima, that when we did the lyrics process. So I think Dima was a bit modest about how biographical a lot of parts in this album are, and there was a lot that we could share about panic attacks, and with Dima and what he was trying to convey, I think that we were looking for the right lyrics and then the right voice expression to try and find this panic attacks and this megalomaniac feeling, and if it's parallel, the world of a tyrant and the world of a crazy artist, like how much ego there's there. So thank you for saying that, because I think that the work with Dima really helped me to find this thing.
Wonderful. I just mentioned the two videos, and they're both very different, but I think very thoughtful and significant to expanding the artistic output. And so maybe you want to tell us a little bit about approaching the videos and the artistic process that went into and thoughts behind the videos.
I think that Vidi should answer that, because the videos, beside of the Shostakovich studio playthrough, it was mostly his scripts. I mean, only Vidi can think about this kind of crazy stuff. I mean, I tried to write a script and nothing came to my mind.
I'm sorry.
Don't be
too late for it now.
I think the guys can talk more about Heart of a Nation and the process. About All Hail the Mustache, it was this thing to try and convey this relentless power, that this pathology that we cannot stop, we cannot push it back. It's the ugly part of us that keeps on showing, even when we're not trying to. And it is also, because it's part of the Soviet Russian trilogy, it was important, I think, to find this Stalin figure and go so crazy with the art that it's like a little bit of meta, like how crazy, how crazy can I go, and how capricic can I go with the writing of this thing, inspired by Eren's and Dima's music. About Heart of the Nation, the guys can tell you more, I think.
By the way, a quick fun fact about All Hail the Mustache video. The main guy there that acts for us is the father of my wife. He is also in the previous album, In the Edge of the Lake. Been there. He's the same guy. So yeah, it's a family thing.
Wonderful. The Heart of the Nation is, of course, quite daring and unusual to have this kind of contemporary dance to a crazy prog metal piece, and of course with the imagery, with the uniform and the in the ruins and all that. How did that come together?
The idea of the Heart of a Nation, if I remember correctly, it was I had this kind of an idea again years ago to connect between modern dancing, ballet, or whatever, to music. Because I studied in the Academy of Music and Dance, so I've been around a lot of the dancers and the piano player that plays for them. That he was one of my best friends, and also he formed between the band. So we always had fun on this lesson, like playing some stuff, like everything from Metallica, Pantera, Seven Station, while they're dancing, stuff like this. So it was very natural. And since the song is talking about the relationship between Stalin and his second wife, Nadia, it's kind of felt like the dance can maybe transfer this kind of emotions that maybe not the lyrics or the voice or the music can transfer completely. So maybe the dance can complete the feeling of it, because there is some personal touch there, and the dancers did a great job with the choreography, and actually they followed the music beautifully in that manner, that they created something that added another value for the music, that you can actually feel this relationship even stronger after you listen to the music and listen to the lyrics or reading them. So basically, I can only say I really like the job of the choreography. It was done beautifully, and they really executed it very good.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree that it's kind of adding a fourth dimension to it.
Yeah.
How is it for you guys? I mean, I think you're kind of spread all over the place, and so how is it for you as a band? How often are you able to see each other, to like in the same room, in the same country?
Well, first of all, we just announced. Let's hope that it will be the beginning of European Heal the Unhealed tour. But for now, we announced 3 dates, which will be in December on 8, 9, and 10, Graz, Ljubljana, and Zagreb. So I'm personally really looking forward to see the guys. And I just a few weeks ago visited Eren in Turkey and Vidi in Israel. So personally, I see them. But as a band, I'm really looking forward that we will meet and play. I cannot even start to explain how much I'm excited about meeting the guys. I love them, first of all, on the personal level and on the musicianship level. And I really cannot wait to hit the stage with them. So soon we will meet.
Well, you were already able to play some gigs with the first album.
Yeah, we had few gigs with a different lineup, but Eren and Vidi were in this lineup as well. We just drum and bass changed. So we had a great time back then. Well, again, at least me. I don't know. So yeah,
it's a lot of work when we do these things. It demands like to move the time and make the time, and then really work hard. But I'm the singer, so of course.
Yeah, we're trying our best to give the audience the best they can get, to have it in the A-class performance. Trying our best, even though we are far from each other.
Yeah, Vidi, I think this kind of stuff that you did on the album, or on the albums, on both, is gonna be hard for you live as well.
Of course,
even if you're only the singer.
No, it's gonna be tough. But I have to say that when I have, I maybe I said it a little before, but when I have these guys, when I have Dima's ambitions, and when I have Eren calmness, so I feel safer. That I can say, like check Eren's out. He's like, you see that he's really wise. So, and that's helpful. I'm not making a joke. It sounds funny, but it's helpful to talk with someone that so articulate, and it's good. He didn't say anything today, but it is what
Eren, you should say something.
Yeah. Actually, I got a question for you. I mean,
Go ahead.
People who might have heard your name before, but not of Seventh Station, might have seen some YouTube videos of you conducting an orchestra, maybe playing some Dream Theater or something else. So how would you like, or would you like to have an orchestra with you, or with you and the band? Doesn't matter if it's Seventh Station or just or another band on stage. Would you do you prefer to have it like you say, like 5 of us is enough to coordinate in this crazy prog metal setting, or would you say it could be so cool to be able to do something like that again?
I mean, if finances and funding of the projects are not a problem, there's like thousands of ideas like that. Not just involving the orchestra, but especially for the second album. We had some initial discussions about what would our perfect show look like. Let's say if if we could book everything, backlines, equipment, video, lasers, clothing, so on and so forth. So we're all looking for a really impeccable storytelling. So orchestra, in my mind, the beginning of an orchestra idea was that 5 people playing together was not really enough for me. I mean, not that I was in a rock band in high school or anything, but at the time, just with acoustic instruments, I wanted to have the impact of a lot of people coming together and doing this together. And one of the most rewarding things for me is that, just like VD saying, like, we're working hard at it. And when we actually achieve this, it's like beating a video, like it's like doing a raid in World of Warcraft. Like when you just finish it, it's amazing. Everybody is tired. Everybody, you know, in the moment where you're playing like a unison with Dimo or something, I know that he's been doing that for months. And so does he, that I've been practicing every day. And when we're able to articulately achieve that, it's amazing. And when you have like a whole string section or like a brass section doing that with you, it's even better. It's the communal feeling of achieving something substantial, both for ourselves and for the audience to be really impressed about it. So yes, absolutely. I mean, we can definitely not only take an existing music and play it with orchestra, but we can actually compose something for orchestra and the band, maybe potentially in the future. But again, it's not just, okay, you know what, let's just slap an orchestra to it and call it cool. But rather, there are so many different ideas about how the stage production is, because we're really looking at it like a stage production rather than calling just a gig. And orchestra is just a way of that, spicing up that stage production. But there are some other ideas that we have, especially Vidi has. Every single time we go through the music, he comes up with these very interesting visual audio elements and really shocking things sometimes, which really, really fits with the music and definitely makes a difference in deliverance.
And I just imagine you video saying, yeah, and this is going to be the part where I'm going to be dangling from the ceiling.
We're going to do some things. It's not going to be dangling from ceilings with this kind of music. Like, I think that physically I will have to focus more to make it happen. But we're planning some weird things. And the thing is with Seventh Station, I think it's because of the way the music is written, it's already very physical music. What they need to do, the instrumentalists, you know, we're talking about me, but they are working all the time. I can breathe every now and then. They from the moment the concert starts until the moment it ends, they're going to be extremely physical. And it doesn't have to be in the sense of jumping up and down. I think it's so intense what they're going to do that all the theatrics are there already. It deserves different kind of attention and theatrics because it just happens from within the music, it's in the root of it. You know, in Submask, the root of it is something else, which makes us move in a different way. But I think what they did here, they're already moving all the time. And I'm gonna, we have some weird things that are going to happen on stage as well.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm really, I'll keep my fingers crossed that you can add a lot of more dates to the Heal the Unhealed tour, and I hope maybe we're gonna be able to see some snippets from the first couple of shows to get an idea what you're up to live these times. Maybe the final question for now would be, with this 2 vocal and one very, very special instrumental singles out, how was the reaction that you received so far for the music for the music that is released already from this second Seventh Station album?
All right. I can say that the Shostakovich piece got quite good attention. We quite got good comments. I think people liked it. I want to believe. I mean, I think that people liked most of the videos. Nadia, I think it was a bit harder to swallow because it's a modern dancing. But the Mustache also got really good comments and vibes. I think it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm usually a bit feel uncomfortable when it comes to talking about myself or about like how the band and all the kind of like things. A few reviews came out. We had quite nice few reviews, which we will hopefully share it. So I don't know. I think
yeah,
cool.
Do you have the feeling that you're ready for the next level of Seventh Station?
I mean, depends
with
on
the second album.
Depends on what. I mean, second album we jumped 20 steps, in my opinion, from production, composition, everything, because we worked with good people, with very professional people, and we had real luck to really work with the best in their fields. So from the musical point of view, I think the second album is really, I don't know, it's a different level. From the promotional level, it's hard today. It's hard. It's very hard because to be a band that write this kind of stuff in this kind of times, that you even if you have label, it doesn't mean that it can bring you anywhere. You need a lot of money to put in promotion, and if you don't have, it doesn't matter how good musician you are, if you will not get anywhere because nobody will know that you exist. So from that, it's difficult. It's difficult topic that we can have another 3 hours conversation, of course. But I mean,
next time maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm really proud of the album, and if you ask about success, I think from musical point of view, I couldn't be even more proud. If it will not commercially succeed, it will suck, of course. But musically, we did absolutely the best, and this is not a cliche. It's really, we did the best we could do.
Yes.
Can I add something quickly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. You can say no. No, shut up.
No.
I'll tell you what about this. I think that besides our artistic gratification, I think that nowadays when social medias show you less and less, and everything has to be faster, you know, Facebook Reels and the stories, and this is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. This album is a demanding album. It's for music lovers. It's for people who are still romantic about music and the preparation and the production. And I think that it's very hard to come through nowadays if people don't get instant gratification. I think it also touched slightly the way people are consuming progressive music nowadays. And even the progressive music is getting a little bit more in the form of something that you can understand pretty fast. And this album, and this is only my opinion, you can write in the comments, fuck you, Vidi, it's okay. But I think
I will write you personally.
Yes, but I think that if you love music, and if you have time, and if your mind is able not to ADHD social media style, then I think there's a lot of things in this album that is good for people. people started listening with their eyes instead with their ears. And I think that this album can bring you back to what was there in the 80s and the 90s, in the sense of just sit down for a second and focus on only one thing. And I think this is why it's going to be hard with this album. I'm being very honest. But I think that we're very happy with the result.
Wonderful. Yes, I'm happy with the result as well. I was very happy that I could hear it already, and I can't wait for you guys out there, for the music lovers out there, to hear it as well. Heal the Unhealed is out on November 7th, and Seventh Station is on tour, 3 dates starting in Graz, and then
8, 9, and 10, Graz, Ljubljana, Zagreb.
December, and I hope there's gonna be more dates to come for that. If you guys out there want to keep up to date, don't forget to follow Seventh Station on their media, because as we said, you need some attention or some ways to spread the word that people see that you exist. So yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channels as well. The Progspace, you find them everywhere if you haven't done so already. Thanks so much for talking about the new Seventh Station album, Heal the Unhealed. Today has been an absolute pleasure. Hope to see you on the road, and for you guys out there, as always, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dario.
Keep spreading the prog love.
Yes.
The Prog Talks, produced by the Progspace.